The work that was in the Roadshow collection was made about 1998. It's called Painter. If you look at it, you'll see that there are very definite figurative references. There's a hand literally holding an artist's paintbrush. The images, though, are heavily disguised through layers and layers of paint. I was more interested in using paint than I was in making a realistic or a painting based on an image. I tried, when I left art school, to be an abstract painter. I spent 30 years wanting to be an abstract painter. I try hard to keep things moving. I try to keep working through the paint and what the paint does, and allow the paint itself to feed ideas into me. I draw, but I don't draw as a preparatory exercise. I draw when I'm stuck and when I don't know what to do next. So I move into a completely different set of media and start making a series of drawings, which are probably based on the last series of paintings I did. Over the years, over my life, every painting I've done has fed into the next painting. But as time goes on, you amass this body of work. And in the past 4 to 5 years, I've been dipping back into my own past and lifting out techniques, ideas, and ways of painting that I really enjoy. The whole thing about painting is, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. If it's boring you, change it. If you're not getting any satisfaction from it, push it and make it more difficult. And I keep trying to make things more and more difficult for myself so that I don't fall into what I call habit patterns. A habit pattern is where you do things that you know are successful and you just keep doing them again and again and again. So like the images behind me, they've all started in Meet Mutant Mickey, which was the first of the figurative paintings, which came about because I acknowledged the Mickey Mouse ears. And I acknowledged them because in the series before that, I had drawn a shape that looked like Mickey Mouse ears, and I said to myself, you can't do that. So I held back in the Mickey Mouse ears and kept making these figurative reference paintings like Painter, the one that's in the exhibition, and holding back the direct references to figuration and disguising the figurative bits underneath the paint. After a while I thought, well, what would happen if I tried it? And I did. And as soon as I tried it, well, the whole figuration thing started to blossom. So what started in 2001 with Meet Mutant Mickey has very quickly ended up in paintings like this, where they're totally full-blown figuration. But I keep referring back and throwing Mickey Mouse somewhere in the background, just to keep some sort of continuity there. The idea in this is to explore things that might feed back into painting. I still see this as a three-dimensional painting, not a sculpture. But the lovely thing about the plywood is you can have bits that move, and it complicates the whole process. And by complicating the whole process, you've got to think a bit harder. And then when you think a bit harder, you start to feed that back into, well, I start to feed that back into a flat canvas. This is a painting in its early stages. It's just ordinary 9mm ply, and I cut it with an ordinary jigsaw by hand. I draw in undercoats and maybe oil paint, and then I start to make my changes, and then I start to cut. So I started cutting up this end, but I was quite happy with the results. And I can only do an hour and a half cutting at a time. It's really tedious, it's really intense. You've got to cut it, so on your back, and then you've got to sand it. So I bring it back up to the studio, and then I begin to change the bits I don't like. So as the work goes on, the paint up this end will become more and more refined and more finished, and around the middle will start to look like this. Art is a lifestyle. You get two choices. You make art, in my case painting, you make painting your career, or you make painting your life. You can make painting your career and make a lot of money if you decide to paint and keep people happy, or you can find a real job and work at the real job and finance a painting and make yourself real happy. I prefer the second option. I've painted always for myself. For me it's not a lifestyle, it's something I really desperately want to do. Partly because I'm not good at anything else.